There are no moral victories in the National Football League. That is a quote from head coach Ron Rivera after the Commanders lose 34-31 in Week 4 versus the Philadelphia Eagles on the road. However, I do think Commanders fans can come out of this game with their heads held high and with hope for the future. Welcome into the Commanders Report. Let's break down today's game. We're in overtime on the road. The Commanders take a 3-point loss to the Philadelphia Eagles, 34-31. Sam Howell, 29 of 41 in this football game, 290 yards passing and a touchdown right at the end of this football game. Brian Robinson Jr., 14 carries, 45 yards, and a touchdown rushing. Leading receiver today, Terry McLaurin, had himself a day with 8 receptions for 86 yards. On the other side of the football, Jalen Hurts still looked pretty good, 25 of 37. This Eagles offense definitely moved the football pretty effectively against the Commanders' defense in this game. Hurts had 2 touchdowns. DeAndre Swift ran for another one. He had 56 yards on 14 carries as well. And then A.J. Brown absolutely balled out today. 9 receptions, 175 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So if you had him in fantasy, looks like you might be winning your matchup this week. Now, before I give you my takeaways, I got 4 of them here for this Week 4 loss versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Go ahead, give me your one-word reaction to the loss. For me, I'm going to say, that's my one word. You're 2-2. You knew that these 2 games against the Bills and Eagles, respectively, were going to be tough matchups, and you're really playing with house money, and you almost pulled off the upset today. And I think overall you can feel pretty darn good about yourself if you are the Washington Commanders in that locker room, even though losing never feels good. My first takeaway, after a little bit of doubt creeping into the mind of Commanders fans last week with Sam Howell, 4 interceptions, big-time interceptions in the end zone and, on the other side of the football field versus the Bills. Today, he looked the part of an NFL starting quarterback again against a legitimate defense and a legitimate pass rush. Again, he took 5 sacks in this football game. So I think the offensive line for the Commanders still is a big problem. Obviously, it's still a big issue, but I thought Eric Bieniemy, the offensive coordinator, gave Sam Howell a really workable offensive script to work with today, and he executed it pretty darn well. 29 of 41 is a pretty darn good stat line, almost 300 yards passing, and then leading the team down the field when you're down a touchdown to tie the football game with seconds left on the clock to send this game into overtime. That showed Sam Howell's moxie, his confidence in himself, and the fact that he can really go into these clutch moments, quiet his mind, and really do a great job at getting this team in a position to win football games against some of the best teams in football. I have the Eagles as my number 1 roster in the National Football League. They don't have many holes on this team, and let's just face it, there's a big hole in this offensive line with the Washington Commanders. Sam Howell went into enemy territory today, took that adversity, and I thought he looked pretty damn good. I think the Commanders still have their guy at QB1. Now I want to introduce you to our brand new sponsor here at the Commanders Report, and it's called Prize Picks. All right, so if you want to spice up your game days, get started with Prize Picks today. Prize Picks is a skill-based, real money daily fantasy sports game. If you're looking for a more fun way to spend your game days, look no further than Prize Picks. How does it work, you ask? Here's how. You pick 2 to 6 players, and if they will go more or less than their Prize Picks projection, you can win up to 25 times your money on any entry you put in. So let's take a look at my Prize Picks this week. I did it with the Jets in Kansas City Chiefs game this week. I have the more on Patrick Mahomes. I've got the more on Travis Kelce. I mean, he's got the mojo going right now with Taylor Swift, man. I think that Patrick Mahomes is going to feed him the football, and I think he's going to take this one to the house, man. And then Garrett Wilson. I mean, let's just face it. Zach Wilson is still a starting quarterback in New York. I love Garrett Wilson as a player, but I'm going to take the less on Wilson this week. So pretty much, man, check it out now at prizepicks.com/CLNS and use our code CLNS for a deposit match today. At Prize Picks, you aren't competing against other people. It's just you versus the projections available instead of battling thousands of other players, including pros and sharks. With Prize Picks, it takes less than 60 seconds to make your picks, so get started right away. So go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use our code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code CLNS at prizepicks.com/CLNS for a deposit match up to $100 today. Now let's talk about the second takeaway today, which once again, the fumbles were there for the Washington Commanders on offense. In this one, 2 fumbles, one from Brian Robinson Jr. and another one from Antonio Gibson, who has really struggled with fumbles to this point in the season. Really want to see this team protect the football. Sam Howell did his job today. No interceptions for the quarterback when he had 4 last week. Now the running backs and these skill position players need to do a better job of protecting this football, because the defense over the last couple of weeks has given up 30-plus point performances against 2 good defenses. So or 2 good offenses, I should say. So when you're going up against these high-flying offenses this year, you're going to want to hold on to that football, protect the ball, and let's be frank here. If they hold on to the football today and the Commanders don't have any turnovers, they probably walk away with the victory today. Now, we get to the third one here. Have a day. Emmanuel Forbes and Cameron Curl. I mean, both of these guys absolutely fantastic today. Cam Curl with 12 tackles, Forbes with 9 tackles and a sack today. So absolutely fantastic for Emmanuel Forbes and Cam Curl. I was hoping to see an interception, maybe even a pick 6 from Emmanuel Forbes. He is the college football all-time record holder for pick 6s in his career. So that would have been nice to see. But overall, these 2 pieces in the secondary, they are going to be the cornerstones of the Commanders secondary for the future, in my opinion. I thought they both played really, really well in this one. Then finally, let's ban the tush push, man. I mean, what are we doing? I mean, it's not really a football play. It's more of a rugby play, if we're being completely honest with ourselves. And let's face it, that push right there in the 4th and 1, that allowed the Eagles to get into field goal range for a game-winning field goal, 54-yarder. And if you don't have the tush push, who knows if they end up making that 4th and 1 conversion. I don't think it's really a football play personally. It's more of a rugby play. Football fans don't really want to see that kind of scrum, in my opinion. I think it's better for the game if we ban that tush push, and if that happens, maybe the Washington Commanders can actually win a football game here against these Philadelphia Eagles within the division. So do you hate the tush push? Do you agree with me or not? Let me know down there in the comments section. Do you hate the tush push play here that the Eagles have made famous? Spam me if you hate this push right now. Let me know down there in the comments section what you guys think. That's going to be it for me today, guys. We're going to have more Commanders coverage breaking down this game tomorrow, so make sure you click that subscribe button so you never miss any of our content here on YouTube.